I need a man who knows and loves this. Listen, if somebody doesn't like me and all my snort laughter, then they just aren't gonna get me, and then they're just not my person.
I think humor in any case. I don't care if you fart when you laugh accidentally. I don't have a problem with Meri's snort laugh.
Hi, besties. Welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to talk about how now Sister Wives is turning into a dating show and it's seeking brother husbands. I'm just kidding. And it's going to be following Meri's dating journey, at least in the very first episode, right? After reading Christine's book and fully grasping how they put together these episodes, I'm not as excited to watch the show. Listen, I knew how reality television worked, but seeing it in black and white and knowing that they sit down with the producers ahead of the season and map out what the season is going to look like, and they put together events and ideas for storylines. And so what happened is Meri sat down with producers, and I don't know if they suggested it or she did, but she made the decision that she would allow them to film her going speed dating. And why this isn't going to be as exciting as you might think is because it's probably going to be kind of set up. It has to be because they're filming it. So in order for someone to get permission to film in an event, they first have to ask the event hosts if they can film. If it's in a public space, a lot of times they have to get permits in order to film because they're working. And then the men that appear on camera with Meri have to sign a consent form with TLC to be on the show, which begs the question, did these guys show up to the speed dating event simply because Meri was going to be there and they wanted to be on a show? I have a lot of questions. Check this out.
We're ready to go. Let's go. Let's go do this thing.
Let's go have you speed date.
No, I've never even thought about doing speed dating. Just too stressful, it's too big of a group, and it's way too noisy.
I'd have to meet them totally organically. I'm not going on any apps. I'm not speed dating. I'm not letting anyone set me up. Nothing.
Speed date for a soulmate.
I have not been single in like a very long time, but how do you meet people today? Because when I got married and I met my husband, it was 2009, and I met him on eHarmony. I don't even know if that website is even a thing. And I remember back in 2009 how hard it was to meet people if you had a full-time job and if you were busy, short of going to a bar and going out like at a club. The only places it felt like you could meet people were there or like at the gym or at work. And a lot of my coworkers dated each other. I never dated anyone that I worked with. I always felt like that was too close to home. I was always too scared to be like, well, what if you date someone that you work with and then like you're at work and you don't like each other anymore, right? It's kind of weird. Anyway, how is Janelle going to meet people if she doesn't want to meet them through a setup like a friend? She doesn't want to meet them online. She doesn't want to do speed dating. She just wants to meet them organically. That's not always easy, but people do it all the time. Sometimes I wonder if Janelle really wants to date and how much she holds on to her faith. It's still very mysterious where she believes, because some of them have misled us, right? For a long time, Meri made us think that she still believed in the faith, right? I mean, even into her divorce, right? With Kody, the spiritual one, because on a podcast, Meri said that she hadn't believed in the faith in a very long time. And on the podcast, she had made the comment that she was still going to stay in the family because they were together, but she didn't believe in the faith anymore. And so on the show, she made this very big deal about how big of a deal the spiritual marriage was and how big of the spiritual sealing being to her. But if she didn't believe in the faith anymore, what did the seal actually mean? Nothing. And that's part of my question with the way that the show and the family unraveled. Okay. Because Christine no longer believed in the faith anymore. And once they get to the point where they're in Flagstaff and Kody's literally just disinterested in having any kind of relationship with her, she then decides and makes the decision that she's not going to stay with him. She's going to move on. And she doesn't need to go through the church because she doesn't believe in it anymore. So, with that being said, if you don't believe in it at all, if you have no belief that this faith is real, you don't believe in Joseph Smith, you don't believe in the lines of authority or the keys, as they say in this faith, that they have the key. If you don't believe it, then getting a spiritual release really is meaningless, right? If she didn't believe. So then my question is, why would you go through a spiritual divorce if you didn't believe? I just have so many questions. I wonder if Meri's changing her story because Christina said, well, I didn't believe for such a long time. And now Meri's like, no, I didn't believe. It's all confusing. Regardless, my only thing with Janelle, that was a long tangent, is to say that with women that are in the faith, that still believe in the faith, if they are legally or not legally, spiritually tied to someone under these doctrines, they're supposed to be tied to them for all eternity. And if a man abandons the woman, even though he's abandoned her, she is still tied to him. And so therefore she can't date because then she would be committing infidelity. And infidelity can get you killed in this cult. I mean, it doesn't happen, but it can. It's in the Doctrine and Covenants. And it's, or damnation, I should say, like your spiritual death. So a lot of women just don't date, even though they've left, because they hold on to that. So I'm still like, where does Janelle stand? Because she seems kind of like apprehensive to date. And maybe she just doesn't want to, honestly. Not everyone needs a partner. Not everyone wants a partner. If she's had a life of chaos, maybe she just wants some peace. I don't know. But Meri's going to speed date.
Dating is interesting because some people really just don't want to date. It's teaching me how to trust myself. Interested in finding somebody who is kind, who is outgoing, who is super confident with who he is. I would love to find somebody who's tall. 6 feet or taller would be awesome. Somebody who has like really good, kind eyes. You can see if somebody's a good person by looking in their eyes.
I was listening to Meri talk on the podcast and she gave a little bit more detail, but she also made a lot of comments about how she's a very hard person to date. And I think there's a lot of self-doubt in Meri because of the nature of where she came from. And I'm guessing that there's a loop in her head from when she was younger that told her that because she has opinions and she's, a woman that asserts her opinions and asserts her needs and doesn't, count. She will like stand up for herself and she's not afraid to speak up for herself. That's not appreciated in that culture at all. And she has a strong personality. She knows what she wants. She knows what she likes. She can be very controlling. And those are definitely dynamics that are challenging, but not the thing about finding the right partner is that they can find a way to like mirror or be the opposite of what you are, or they can manage who you are because they love you, right? And he's kind, he's outgoing, he has nice eyes. I don't agree with the whole nice eyes things because I had a boyfriend that had really nice eyes and they were so sparkly and he was an evil person. So I don't know. I think she probably has a lot that she needs to learn because she's pretty naive. I think when she started dating that one guy, Amos, I think she was very naive to who he was. And she's sort of commented about how that relationship fell apart. And she's made comments to the effect now about how he always wanted to talk about the show and how some guys only care about knowing the tea about the show, which I think is what partially was going on with Amos. And then other people not wanting to be public, they wanting to be more private. And then her saying that not everybody wants to get involved with me because I have a background in polygamy. And that's actually all of those things are true, but not all guys will be afraid And especially in Utah, a lot of people in this world have family members connected to it, or they have like great grandparents connected to it, or extended relatives that are involved in it. So it's not as disconnected within the Mormon LDS faith. And there's a growing number of ex members that have left this church that meet up and get married after they leave. There's a growing number of ex LDS people that get involved with ex members of the fundamentalist churches. So it's not impossible to find people in this world that will accept her background. It is something to consider though, because when you become a family member to someone that has ties to this group, you're going to be exposed to people that are kind of questionable. And I don't know specifically in Mary's own family who is in and who is out. Her mom and dad are both gone. She has a sibling, Rebecca, whose husband, Nathan, I would classify as an extremist. And he definitely has he has views and he runs with people that would definitely be considered extremists. And, in some of these groups, extremism includes militias and, secret militias, government militias that are going to go against the government, that kind of extremism. It also can include dealing with people that, don't care about possibly trafficking illegal weapons. There's still so much human trafficking that's within this church. And that gets me to where I was going to go, is that if you're going to be with someone that is from this world, you're going to welcome family members into your life that you might not have even been aware of. So there's definitely obstacles. And then she also is on a show. And so then whoever she's with has to accept the fact that she's famous. And for a lot of people, that's just a lot. For Christine to have found David so quickly and for him to have literally clicked all the boxes, it's truly incredible if you think about it. He had 2 sisters that were in polygamy, so he's not afraid of the culture and he's completely in tune and understands who these guys are. He's not afraid to confront it. He's not afraid to call it out. He's sympathetic to the women and he knows how hard it is for them to get out, so he's a good sounding board for her in that respect. And then because of that, he's not afraid of it, right? Some people are just, it's so awful to them that they would even live this way. They don't want to associate even with the women. It's sad, but I don't know. We'll see how Meri evolves in this. That's a long way to go. But, I remember when I was dating, I had specific things that I was looking for, but sometimes you just need to be open. With Meri, I know she keeps saying that she wants someone that's outgoing, but part of the reason I think that Meri and Kody clashed so much is because they both have such strong personalities. And having a strong personality is definitely not a bad thing at all. It just means that you're assertive and you're not afraid to be assertive. But if you have 2 people that are very assertive and very opinionated and very, this is what I want, and then very, unwilling to compromise, you're going to butt heads. And so I feel like Meri would do really well with a partner that would let her lead. Not like she has to be in control, but would be okay with being not the alpha. And that's in this culture, the men are taught to be alphas. They're supposed to be the alpha. They're supposed to be the patriarch. And, I feel like Meri would do better with someone that's not interested in being a patriarch and just wants to be a partner, if that makes sense. And when she says outgoing, I don't know if she means like they're an extrovert and they just want to go out and do stuff, or if she means outgoing like they're, strong-willed and opinionated. I really don't know. I don't know what outgoing. When I think of outgoing, I think of extroverts. But then I think extroverts, I think, God, that sounds so exhausting. Like, oh my gosh. I knew what I wanted. I wanted an introvert. And that's what I got. I got a guy that reads books all the time, that plays guitar and plays his music and makes music and likes to do wood crafting. And he's very artistic and very like artsy. And that's exactly what I wanted. So Meri wants someone that's very confident in who he is. And I wonder if that's a dig at Kody, because one of the gripes that Christine has in her book is that Kody was unable to make decisions on his own and always needed someone to reinforce what he was doing and guide him. And she never liked that. And so if someone is confident in who they are, they don't need to sound off and get advice from every single person on what it is that they should do. And Christine said that when he started marrying Robin, that person that he was going to as a sounding board was basically Robin. So everything became formed around what Robin wanted and how she molded and sculpted his brain. So if you're confident in who you are, you can make decisions decisively and you don't need to be, I guess maybe she doesn't want someone that's like super passive and indecisive. Two really strong-willed people together with, Meri might have a hard time finding someone that would be, I guess you could be confident in who you are and not be an alpha male. I don't know. I feel like she's looking for someone like herself. You know what I mean? I don't know if that'll work, but maybe that's why she's still single. I have no idea. Either way, long story short, the whole concept of dating after polygamy is challenging. And the women that go through the process, it's, hard. And it's not uncommon that people won't date like Janelle and that they do rebound quickly like Christine. And then there's others like Meri that struggle to find someone because they have to get rid of all that programming. And then they're also don't necessarily know how to trust themselves because they've had their whole lives dictated to them and every decision made by authority. And so making decisions on your own can feel overwhelming. But all of it sounds like just a big storyline. And I highly doubt she'll meet anyone through the speed dating. And it's just a way to make an episode. Hopefully it'll be entertaining. So I also think that the dig about the height of him being 6 feet is a dig at Kody because Kody is like, I think he's 5'9" or 5'10". I don't think he's super tall. And I know that he always wanted to be 6 feet, but he never was. And so I think that when she says she wants someone that's confident in himself and someone that is over 6 feet, those are digs at Kody. And maybe Kody has evil eyes. I don't know. So tell me what your thoughts are. Do you think it's real? Do you think it's not real? Do you think she'll be successful? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Can you do me a favor and send some hypes? I don't even know what hypes are, but I would love to get some hype. Send me some hypes. And make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, besties.